Okay, let's make this quick because I've got things to do. Hey guys, what's up? It's Big Jack Films here. Welcome to another live stream. And yeah, I'm pretty well kept. Just got a haircut today, so if it's a little shorter than usual, I had to get a haircut today because things are happening. That light is really bright, so we're just gonna move over here. So, welcome to another live stream. Bear in mind, this one's gonna be a little shorter than usual. I don't really have an hour to really hang about a half hour. So I'm just going to zip through a few updates as well as a few questions for you guys because I have to do a few things before my mother gets home because she's just getting back from Florida, and I want to get something out for you guys today. Oh God, somebody! Oh God, what a load up! So yeah, first thing I want to clear up, since it's called Clear and Under Control, like that old commercial. So somebody last week had been impersonating HEWY TOONMORE of HEWY's anime movie reviews, who's a really supportive guy on the channel. That guy was a dick. So and just to be fair, I thought it was HEWY at first, but then when he started saying a lot of shady shit, basically I basically started to ignore that, and it was like some guy with the My Little Pony profile. It was really kind of fucked up, so I just ignored it on that. But the real HEWY is here. Thank goodness. And I apologize for that, HEWY. I'm so sorry I had to go through that. That sucks. But anyway, if you guys want to help him out, guys, go link down below. Go check out his Patreon. He could really use the support right now. We really want to help him get back into the game a little bit, doing reviews, because we missed you, buddy. We've missed you doing reviews. We want you back in here. He's going through some computer troubles, so if you guys want to help him fix things up, please go do so and check out his Patreon. So that's cleared. Another thing I want to clear is the recent videos we've been putting out lately. Friday we put out a commentary for my G.I. Joe review, so you guys can go check that out. We put out he needs a computer before he can make new reviews, so guys, go help him out on his Patreon. I'd really appreciate it. And speaking of Patreon, you guys are going to be seeing these probably every Monday for the first 4 weeks, but you guys are going to be seeing Patreon exclusive trailers for videos that are only available on Patreon for subscribers. They're basically the start of our new series, which are Inuyasha vlogs, where I review the entire series about once a week, one arc a week. And they're just going to be simple vlogs, kind of like Last Airbender vlogs that one channel did. But we're going to be essentially doing a show like that where we talk about the whole Inuyasha series. I've already made about like 5 episodes, like 5 vlogs, pretty much talking about every arc. So they're going to be released once a week on Patreon, but I will be putting out trailers for those, so you guys can, if you guys see the trailers and you guys want to see the full video, you can check it out on our link in our Patreon. Just $1 or more will get you early access to all of our content, as well as other special features. So if you really want to see these like now ready to go, go check out our Patreon, and we're gonna eventually start releasing them probably about once a week, in about a month from now. So around February, you're gonna see the full reviews. But right now, this month, for the next month, they are exclusive to Patreon. So again, go check out our Patreon, go subscribe, help donate, and all the proceeds are going to go towards future projects, as well as a potential Inuyasha fan film. I think I'm going to finally start getting back on doing another film, like a feature, because it's been 10 years. Believe it or not, this is the 10th anniversary coming up on me starting up my Kong remake. I started writing that thing in September 2010 is when I started writing the script for that. So we're kind of want to go back and do another big movie, because it's been a while since I've done one, because the last one took 6 years. So that's been happening. And finally, I want to point out that there was a certain fan fake trailer I might have put out yesterday or Tuesday, I can't remember. For those who don't know, about a couple nights ago, I was really bored, and I kind of had no motivation to really do much editing, so I decided to do a little bit of experimenting. And apparently a lot of people have told me in the past, critically, that I'm really good at making my trailers for my projects. Like, people really enjoy what I do with trailers. So I thought, why don't I apply that to an actual film trailer? So what I did was, given the fact that we were all pissed off that we hadn't gotten a trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong yet, and there's tons of fan trailers out there, but I was just like, you know what? Screw it. I'll make my own, and I'll make it as realistic as possible. So that's what I did. I tried to I'll get into the behind the scenes in a sec, but basically I posted that on Tuesday at midnight, and what's really great is that I tried to apply the same kind of marketing that Warner Brothers would do. So that meant like a darker tone, classical music, as well as the biggest issue I had was trying to find an image that nobody had used yet for a thumbnail to fool people. And I basically took the Godzilla trailers that are on the official Warner and made it look like that to fool people. And you know what? It kind of worked. It did work, and it did boost my ad revenue up again, so thank you very much. But thinking about it, I thought it's a little unfair to people who are actually waiting, and I didn't want to feel like a troll. I didn't want to feel like a douchebag, so I did put eventually fan-made, but I just wanted to wait till it boosted up a little bit. But again, thank you all so much for watching that. I was surprised how big that got in terms of like how many views. Like, it got like, I woke up the next morning and it was already at 1,000. I'm like, holy shit. But so in terms of making the fan trailer, I've always been a fan of that genre here on YouTube, is fan trailers, because sometimes they can be not good, but sometimes they can actually fool me to thinking if this was an actual movie, I'd watch it. That's what I wanted to do with this trailer, because there's a couple of tips and tricks I want to go through. So like, one thing you want to do with a fan trailer is try to make it current. You want to use footage that is current of things. And one of the things that a lot of fan trailers fall into that I've noticed is the constant use of footage from previous films, trying to make it look like it's a new shot. So like, for example, I see a lot of Godzilla vs. Kong trailers. I saw a lot of trailers for the fourth Jurassic Park, this is pre-Jurassic World, and some of them just show clips from the other movies. Now, that used to be a staple in trailers back in, like, the 80s and 90s. You know, there's a teaser trailer, a really rare teaser trailer for King Kong Lives that just uses footage from the 76 remake in really tight close-ups. There's a ton of the Heisei Godzilla teasers that are essentially, the Godzilla teasers that are basically using footage from either the original or previous film, saying, oh, and here comes, you've seen this, now get ready for Godzilla 4, you know, and shit. See, that was a staple back then because they hadn't shot anything out. They just announced it. But nowadays, you can't do that shit unless you're presenting it to a studio. So, for me, I wanted to try to stay away from using footage that already exists. So, I look at a trailer for, say, a fifth Jaws, for example. One of the things I really like about fan trailers for that particular sequel that I kind of want to see is them using no footage from the previous films. They use other shark movies, good shark movies, none of those shitty CGI ones. So you use things from like Deep Blue Sea to get your point across. Okay, great. That's a good way to do it. Another way to do it is use footage of certain actors in different movies. So like one trailer I saw, and it really set the tone right, was from a Richard Dreyfuss film called What About Bob, starring him and Bill Murray, which is which is a really good comedy, by the way. And basically, they took all the shots of Richard Dreyfuss going nuts. And there's one line he says in the film, and he's talking about Bob, but in the trailer, they make it look like he's talking about the shark, where he's like looking at his wife, and he's like, "Gone? He's not gone! That's the whole point!" So the idea is like the shark never goes away. And I love how they do that. And what I love too is they use the music, John Williams music, not from the original, but from Jaws 2, which I find is actually a better score than the original. So that's one way to fool me to thinking, wow, this would be a good movie. But again, most trailers fall into the category of using footage from the previous films. So what I'd rather see is when you're creating a fake trailer for a sequel or for a franchise, you have to use non-existing footage that was already used in a previous film. So for the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer, there was obviously that leaked Comic-Con shot they had from their press reel that got leaked, and any Toho people will slap a copyright on it. Same thing with the leaks for the toys and shit. So, thankfully, somebody on YouTube, I can't remember what his name is, but he did such a great job, and I did credit him in the trailer. There is a recreation of that scene in CG, and it's not really the best CG, but it still pretty much matches, so I used that. That was a good start. But then for things of Godzilla and Kong separately, obviously one of the biggest things to use was footage from Ready Player One with Kong attacking the city. But the trick is to make him look big. So I tried to pick the best shots where he looked massive, or he didn't look too high up scaled for the buildings. Another thing with Godzilla, the Godzilla footage, the majority of it was from a, I think like a car commercial that was used for 2014, but none of the footage from that car commercial was used in the film. And it kind of is a good way to kind of make it look like here's an actual movie. The Monarch footage was all these deleted scenes from 2014 that I was able to slap in there. And then the shots of, say, Millie Bobby Brown and, what's his name, Kyle Chandler. For Kyle Chandler, I was originally going to use footage from Super 8, but I thought, let me see if there's some deleted scenes. So I used deleted scenes from the last two films, from Godzilla vs. Kong. I used deleted scenes that were only available and weren't in the film. So that helped. The shot of Xian Zhang, I think her pronounced, she's one of the Twin Fairies from Mothra, obviously didn't want to use footage from a previous film, so when it comes to actors in a film that you know are cast in the picture and they haven't put a trailer out, you want to use footage from some of their recent work in order to make it look like this is coming from this film. So Alexander Skarsgård footage of him in the military, that was from a recent film he did where it's basically Platoon in Afghanistan, where he plays like sort of the really mad colonel who goes insane. So I thought that, like, I saw that, I'm like, that might work for this trailer where he's kind of one of the guys helping build a certain monster at the end, and, you know, he goes a little cuckoo. Obviously, some Charles Dance is in there. You hear Charles Dance in the background saying he's no true king. That's a bit of mixed sentencing I found from Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is recent, so I figured I'd use that. But yeah, so, like, it's more just trying to use footage from recent films that these actors did. That's another way you can fool people. Use footage from films that actors have done recently that most people might know about, so you can trick them. So that's the idea of fan trailers. They are an allusion to what could potentially be. So for me, creating this was a lot of fun. It took me about 6 hours to make, but it was a really, really fun to put that all together. I had a really good time with that, and you can check that out as well. And it worked. And, you know, maybe someday I'll do something with that again. Maybe I'll do something for a fifth Jaws. Maybe I'll do something for maybe the next Jurassic Park. I don't know, that might be something worth doing. Because I do have kind of because the idea is when you're creating a fan trailer, you want to have the plot already established and say, how can I make this plot into a 2-minute segment? Thoughts on the train I did. It looked really good in Inuyasha Dinosaur 101. So I might do more in the future. Let me know. I do want to do more TV intros with my show if you guys want to see more of those. Because those are very easy for me to edit and put out there. To keep you guys entertained, because yeah, like right now, big videos are taking a bit longer. Like right now, I'm taking about 2 months to essentially 2 months right now to write scripts for future episodes, film them, edit them, so I can start going in March, so we can start getting shows going there. Make a Zorro versus Robin Hood trailer. I wouldn't do that, but I would do maybe a fake trailer for the Zorro reboot to kind of give an idea of what I would do. And I have two options. One would be a straight up reboot. Actually, three options. One would be a reboot. One would be a third Zorro film. And the third option would be doing the Django Zorro crossover. Oh God. See, I think that already exists, Huey. There already exists one of those. I think I remember seeing this. But like for Robin Hood, I'd probably do a Russell Crowe Robin Hood 2 teaser to get people excited, because it's basically stuff I enjoy. I am actually really hyped for Season 7 of Clone Wars. I actually did see the trailer today, and yeah, like, okay, you've got me sold. Do I like Judy Garland? Yeah, like, as Dorothy? That's about it. That's really about it. I haven't seen any other films with her. Or no, you know what would be great actually, Huey? Take the trailer audio from Russell Crowe's Robin Hood and combine it with the Disney film. Maybe I could do that. She was great. I didn't see the new movie where Renee Zellweger, I believe, plays her. I haven't seen that. I know it's an Oscar contender. And speaking of the Academy Awards, I'm overall really happy with the nominations. I think I do have some issues, though. I do like how Joker was nominated for a lot of awards. However, the only one it's a little nitpick. I really wish it was nominated for Best Production Design, because the production design of that was great. But two movies that got snubbed at the Academy Awards. Two movies that got snubbed. Alita Battle Angel for visual effects. What the hell? That pissed me off, because I saw that early last year, and it was one of the best movies of the year for me because it was a visual masterpiece. This is Cameron. They got a live-action anime right. Like, I wouldn't care about cinematography or whatever, but if this got best visual effects, would have been great. Nothing wrong with that Robin Hood, Huey. I said nothing is bad about it. So, yeah, like, Alita Battle Angel was fantastic. One of the best films of the year. I'm so pissed off they got snubbed visual effects. The other movie I'm pissed off didn't get nominated. Not one. Godzilla. Only because, not really for the effects, not really for the cinematography, it's a good monster movie. Is it up to Academy Award standards? No, but you know what was? Original score, or best score. Because they finally did a Godzilla movie where they paid tribute to Akira Ifukube's score. And it was updated. Bear McCleary did such a great job. And he gets snubs an Oscar for score. And people are like, well, it's not really like, I'm going to bring my nerd out. Well, technically, it's not really an original score because it's using existing material. Yet, John Williams is nominated for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker that uses so many unoriginal themes. He's recycling themes. At this point, best original score should just be called best score. It shouldn't be original. It should be just like, look, if the music's good, the music's good. I think Joker was nominated. I'm not 100%, but that's a possible contender. I think, if anything, John Williams should get a Lifetime Achievement at the Academy Awards, because he definitely deserves it. One last thing, and I've seen a petition for this going around year after year. I think there should be a new award category, and that being for best stunt work. Stunt guys are so screwed in Hollywood. Yeah, they get paid, but they don't really get any recognition for their work, because it's the equivalent of people who are astronauts who go into space and then they come back. They've risked their neck to go out there and give use to science, and they come back because these heroes with parades and everything. And stunt guys who do the same thing, they risk their necks on movie sets to achieve spectacular action feats and everything on screen, and they get yet nothing from the Academy. And I think there should be an Oscar nomination for best stunt work in a motion picture, because these guys need recognition, even if it's a foreign film, like those kung fu movies. You know, or, yeah, like everything's CG now, but you still have wire work. You still have people who do certain things in films that you can't achieve with CGI. So I really think that stunt work needs to start being recognized, because there are people out there who really put their lives on the line, and they need some form of recognition. But anyways, so that's my rant on the Academy Awards. So I'm interested, but honestly, the Oscars, I've been pretty much passing on them and just waiting until the next day to see who won. I'm literally like the six-fingered man in The Princess Bride. Who won? How did it end? And it's like, the loser went off alone, but the winner followed those prince towards Hilda. Fucking love that movie. I might review that someday. Yeah, I know. Well, not win, but at least nominated is what I'm saying. Because that was such a drag. I can kind of understand The Lion King being nominated for Best Visual Effects, though, because despite that movie not being good, I'm not gonna lie, the visuals were pretty incredible. They were pretty fucking sweet. Not gonna lie. Speaking of lions, honestly, lately I've been getting into a bit of a fantasy kick lately. and I kind of want to go back and watch the Narnia trilogy because it's been a while. I know Netflix is doing essentially a redo again. Like, can you just have a continuous, like, franchise? Like, I know a lot of the kids in Narnia are just old, but I don't know. I've been waiting for them to do the next one. I wanted to see them do the Silver Chair. Plus, with Disney acquiring Fox and they handed the rights over to Fox, doesn't mean they re-own Narnia. Like, I would say that if you want a franchise that's not as popular that could use a revival, pick fucking Narnia. Get Liam Neeson back. Like, let's continue the Narnia franchise. I think Lewis deserves something here. Yeah, I haven't seen Cats either. Oh god, I'm so glad. Oh, Cats is gonna. I would love to see them roast Cats at the Oscars. Speaking of, you know what it is? See, and here's my idea for hosts at the Academy Awards. I found the last great host of the Oscars was Seth MacFarlane. And there's a couple of reasons why. There's a couple of reasons why I think Seth MacFarlane was the last good host. Because the Oscars ratings were at the highest they had ever been. Lately, they've really started to decline. And there's a reason why they chose Seth MacFarlane. Because they not only wanted to attract the adult market, they wanted to attract the kids. And at the time, what were kids into? They were watching Family Guy for the poop jokes and the immature humor. So when they had Seth MacFarlane host, they got more viewers because kids were watching because they were expecting potty humor. And you know, I thought it was actually pretty funny. Yes, I think Ricky Gervais would be great. But the thing is, they want obviously to get more viewers. So in doing so, and if you want to get the kids involved, you got to turn to something the kids are into. And that being people on the internet. I would advise the Academy to pick someone that nobody in Hollywood would know. That being YouTubers. YouTubers should host the Oscars. And I'm not talking about just like, you know, the basic YouTuber, like, you know, any YouTuber. I'm talking about comedic YouTubers, comedians. So people like Smosh. Holy crap, they'd be hilarious. Like, I know one of them left, but if you could do like, oh, can you imagine how stupid it would be if the Academy Awards were realistic and they do that on stage? That'd be hilarious. Oh, I would love to host the Academy Awards. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. But like people that, you know, grew up with filmmaking who could add something. Like James Rolfe hosting the Academy Awards. Sure, he wouldn't be funny, but he'd be a good guy to present an award. Yeah, or you know what? And this might be controversial, but you know who I think would be an amazing contender to host the Academy Awards? JonTron. JonTron, whether you love him or hate him, would be a great host at the Oscars because he would not only be funny, he'd be refreshing. And especially for the young crowd, they would be really into this. I think that would be fantastic because like you've got this guy who's huge on YouTube. Like I like to consider JonTron the Billy Crystal of YouTube. And he kind of has the same style as Billy Crystal at the Academy Awards. So imagine him in different movies and stuff. Like it'd be hilarious. And I already come up with a really good skit. So he presents an Academy Award to like a really famous person. But then he drops the Oscar and the Oscar cracks in half. So he's just like, oh, don't worry, I got this. And then he brings out Phil Swift. And they just cover the Oscar with flex tape. There's your joke. It's just uses flex tape to fix an Academy Award. It's like, come on, you can see that being actually really funny. I would love that. And what's great about JonTron is that he balances, you know, good humor with okay humor. That would be passable for television. So I think, like, imagine him sitting in his chair watching the Oscars, like sitting in his couch, and like there's all these reactions to all these. It'd be great. It's like, yeah, it's like there's Academy Awards brought to you by Flex Tape. Yeah, okay, so that's why the silver chair was sold. Shit. Anyway, so that's who I would want to see host the Oscars, and then over time you can get other people. You can get what other comedic YouTubers are out there? I don't know. Get maybe people like Philip DeFranco would be great. Or, I don't know, Boogie298, get Francis. Hey, guys, what's up? Yeah, it's me, Francis, and I've never been to the Academy Awards. I think this is a great moment, and we need to acknowledge gaming. That'd be funny. No, Tommy Wiseau hosting the Oscars. Oh, hi, Hollywood. Here at the Academy Award, I win. That would be a good one, Ike. I wouldn't mind that. Like, that whole group. They just, no, it just comes out as his character. I just reviews all the movies. Or hell, get the Mystery Science Theater 3000 guys. The whole time they're just riffing the entire awards. I would love that. Yeah, that'd be something. Anyway, so that's who I see. Or yeah, freaking Len Carr at the Academy Awards. Him with just his hat. And like, I don't know, he presents an Oscar, like he talked about maybe visual effects. Or no, oh my god, the cinema snap. It's like, the Academy Awards are a really popular series of television networks that present awards for movies that are highly overrated. I don't know. I would love to see, like, if I hosted the Academy Awards, I would get all my review buddies on this shit. I would get everybody. And half the Academy people would probably either be like, I kind of know who that is, or who the fuck is that? And it would just really, but the kids would know who they are. So then they could ask their kids, who's this guy? And then they'd be like, okay, these guys are cool. I think that's where they should go with it. Or hell, try to think of other people who could host. I don't know. Somebody like Mark Hamill would be great. You know, something on that end. You know, that's kind of where I would be at with that. So anyway, so now that I've kind of gotten my Academy Award rant out, let's talk about some questions here. Thoughts on Lucy's character being a hybrid? I think that's actually kind of cool. Do a food corner on the Subway meatball sandwich. That might be something worth doing. I've never had the meatball sandwich. I'm usually a pizza guy. Maybe someday. Thoughts on Audrey Hepburn? She's the girl from The Shining, right? She's a good actress. I do feel bad for her, though. She's really been through the ringer. What's the last question? Fuck. How do I feel about Cannibal Holocaust? I've never seen it, but I heard it's really fucked up. My favorite... Oh, okay. I see what you mean. I got a little confused there. Oh, she, what is it? Breakfast at Tiffany's? Is that her? What's your favorite Ishiro Honda film? I'm gonna have to go with the original Gojira. I still say someday you need to do a Jumanji marathon. Maybe someday. Like, I really still like the original film with Robin Williams. But yeah, maybe at some point I'll give it a shot. Ever heard? Oh god, no, not Where the Dead Go to Die. A whole movie made on the Kinect. That is like, that movie's just disturbing. Like, when I see that movie, I see that's the kind of shit that goes through the mind of a school shooter. That is a fucked up movie. Have I seen the movie Avatar? Which one? The Cameron or Last Airbender? Or Cameron or Shyamalan? Shyamalama Ding Dong, as everybody calls him. I'm sorry, M. Night Shyamalan, what a hack director. What a hack. Fucking hate him. He's almost as bad as Michael Bay. I actually really like the original Avatar. I watched it again. It still holds up. I thought it was actually pretty good. I'm not... It's a little too late for the sequels, but let's see if the trailer's gonna impress me. The book, the 1985 film, animated series. Oh my god, that's a lot. Audrey, yeah, I know she's dead. As I know you doubt, you'll be dead in a minute. Let's see here. Ever seen Apocalypse Now? Yes. Kind of fell asleep through it. Oh, hi, Michael Bay. What Ray Harryhausen creature would you want to be besides the dinosaurs? Probably Mighty Joe Young or the Cyclops from Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. Or the Skeleton Armies. I like those. The skeletal fight. Pardon me, what are your thoughts on the idea of a Joker movie getting a sequel? Simple. Put Batman in it. I know a lot of people have issue with that. No, you need to focus on this. No. We've gone far too fucking long without a proper solo Batman movie. Without a Batman movie in general. Like, I'm not counting Batman v Superman Justice League. I'm counting solo simple Gotham City-based Batman film. Joker was, I think if they expand on this and add Batman, it might be a bit more interesting. I think that would be something I would really like to see. Thoughts on the Tex Avery and his cartoons? I've only seen a few of them. The most I remember was the Wacky World of Tex Avery cartoon show, which was fucking batshit insane. Rise of Skywalker or Phantom Menace? They're both on equal ground, in my opinion. They're not the best Star Wars movies, but they're fun. Thoughts on people saying Joker steals too much from Taxi Driver? I wouldn't say steal as it is inspired by. Because you do set it in 70s, 80s Gotham. So I would say more inspired. Thoughts on a Jason the Argonauts remake? No. No, don't remake that. Thoughts on Lucy's character as a human dinosaur? I already said Inuyasha Dinosaur 101. That's interesting. Thoughts on the Batman? Looking forward to it. I think there's a movie I want to see next year. Would you like to see Robert Pattinson's Batman Joker sequel? Depends on what they do with Batman in this upcoming film. If they connect it to the Joker universe, but that would mean that Batman movie would get a hard R, and I'm okay with that. Looking on reflection, honestly, I think my favorite Batman film next to The Dark Knight, for different reasons, and Mask of the Phantasm, and 89, I think my favorite Batman film has to be Batman Returns. And the reason I say Batman Returns, that is the darkest Batman ever got. Literally the darkest Batman ever got. It was violent, it was disturbing, and the biggest thing for me about Batman, because I haven't felt this in years, scary. Batman Returns was scary, and it's still horrifying imagery. And it still holds up today. It's also one of my favorite Christmas movies now. The score is the darkest. The villains are great, so that's honestly, darker than Dark Knight Rises. Look, Dark Knight Rises was just the 9/11 of Batman movies, in my opinion, Huey. And that's a different type of dark. I'm talking, because the thing is with me with Batman when I was a kid, what is the one thing Batman does with his criminals? What is his one greatest strength in fighting criminals? He uses fear. Strike fear into their hearts to make them stop. And sure, Batman doesn't really do much of that in this film. Like, he straight up kills people, which I don't care about that. Kill people in the first one. But I think just the visual aesthetic of Batman being scary, like, as a whole, as a movie, is what I want to see. And I'm not talking about a horror Batman. I'm not talking about horror. I'm talking about, it's a Batman movie, but it's going to scare the kids a little bit. And just really, I'm going to enjoy it. Because that's the thing. Batman, for me, is really the only DC hero you can give to adults. Like, adults will enjoy it. Like, Superman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, that's for the kids. Batman, because he's grounded in reality and he's able to beat up really psychotic people, it needs to be scary. It needs to be disturbing. I actually felt that Joker was the closest thing to tone to Batman Returns. And honestly, I feel Batman Returns is my favorite Batman film for its tone. I want Batman to go back to this. I want it to be dark. I want the colors to be either gray or blue or, stuff like that. Not too much bright. And on top of that, I wouldn't mind if they even reused Danny Elfman's score from that, because that's the best score for me. Like, everything with Catwoman in that movie is probably, she is the most sympathetic villain in the series. I went back and watched it over Christmas, Batman Returns. The last scene, the climax, like where Bruce is trying to help Selena Kyle save her, and he fails. And I love that. Like, because, hey, Batman doesn't always win, guys. Sometimes he fucking loses. The majority of the time, he loses because he fails the people he's trying to help. And the last scene where he picks up the cat, and, by the way, if I ever review that, I want to do a skit where Batman's just, like, having to raise this cat. Just have a scene with him sitting, like, eat your fucking dinner. Right, something like, I might do that. But the whole thing is that, you know, it leaves on a very somber, emotional note, especially given it was Michael Keaton's last Batman film. Over time, I kind of teared up a little bit at the end because it's just such a tragedy. And that's Batman to me. It's always been about tragedy, darkness, and I just loved it for that. So for me, Batman Returns was always my favorite. So I'm really hoping at some point with this Pattinson Matt Reeves film, they go back to that tone. Because I've missed that with Batman. I'm done with lightheartedness. I'm done with too much Hollywood shit. Well, I mean, Hollywood shit's fine. I'm sick of being too family-friendly like the Schumacher films. I'm sick of the realism of The Dark Knight. And I'm sick of the over-the-top, like, too much darkness in Batman v Superman. I want to go back to creepy, dark, scary Batman. I want that's one. It's the same thing I have with Kong. Kong and Batman, I want them to go back to being scary again. Scary in terms of you look at them and you shit your pants with being terrified. I don't get that much anymore with these movies. Like Kong Skull Island was probably the closest where you're just like, oh shit, this guy's an animal. This guy's gonna kill people. But with Batman, he's too heroic. I want him to be a little bit more hard-edged, a bit more scary, a bit more terrifying. You know, as much as he strikes fear into the hearts of criminals, he's got to strike fear into us when he becomes Batman. When he becomes Batman, he's a totally different character. Like that scene in Mask of the Phantasm, he puts the mask on for the first time, and Alfred's just like, my God. Like, he's a totally different person. So, that's what I want to see with Batman. What about the Batman Arkham games? I haven't played those enough to know if they're on the same level, but I don't think they are. Like, the animated series had a perfect balance of dark and light, but I need full dark. Godzilla was terrifying. Yeah, like, Shin Godzilla was fucking horrifying. That was scary. That's what I want. The same thing with Godzilla. Like, the new movies are great, but he's too heroic. Shin Godzilla is scary. It's the closest to being as scary as 1954 or 1984. I don't know about a sequel. I wouldn't mind it, but you'd have to do something even more crazy. Maybe Shin Mothra or Shin King Ghidorah, basically. Am I a Steve Carell fan? Yes and no. I do like some of his movies. You know what? I don't know if people like this one, but I kind of liked Evan Almighty. I thought that was actually pretty funny. What's your favorite horror film besides Kong? King Kong I don't consider a horror film. I consider it an adventure, a classic film. For me, my top three, if you guys want to know my top three horror movies, what defines as the best horror movies are movies that literally have to scare the shit out of me, and over time, even if they're not as scary as I was as a kid, they still are just like, whoa. And I can name only three. The first being Jaws. For my childhood, that was one of the scariest movies I've ever seen in my life. Now I see it as a good sea adventure, a good suspenseful film, and it's one of my favorite movies, but Jaws, in terms of, like, primal fear and stuff, was great. Second favorite, scariest movie, Poltergeist, the original. The best ghost movie ever made. Especially given the behind-the-scenes factors and the Poltergeist curse, it just makes it all the more terrifying, and that movie scared the hell out of me. Like, fuck me, what a scary, see, to me, that's a horror movie. Fuck The Exorcist, fuck Texas Chainsaw Massacre, even though it's the same director. Poltergeist is scary. That is scary. Scary shit right there. Well, here's what I think of Junberg films. Steven had full control of it. Toby Hooper was just a side director. But when the Poltergeist curse started happening, Steven pointed the finger at him to save his own ass. Dick move, but a good move. So, there's that. But the third scariest movie I've ever seen, and I'll say this, it is the best horror film in the last 20 years. So this is the best film of this century, horror film of this century. And I might be on the minority on this. The Descent. The Descent is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen, and easily the scariest movie of the last 20 years. And that's saying something. Because that movie, horror films are either overly violent, sequels, remakes, redos, jump scares, found footage. I'm so sick of jump scares. I'm so sick of that shit. But The Descent goes back to primal fear. It goes back to claustrophobic fear, you know, and like really great monsters and really great effects work. Because when I go in there, it is okay. Basically, if you guys have not seen The Descent, take the Riddles of the Dark chapter in The Hobbit and make it where Bilbo ate fucking everybody. It is basically Riddles in the Dark meets Alien, as I put it. And that's the thing. A lot of critics said that film was as good as Alien. It really was like a lot of Alien in that, and I can see that. But yeah, The Descent is the scariest movie of the last 20 years of this century. It's the scariest film for me. There's not many horror films that have been good the last 20 years. I think the last great horror film of the era before this century was The Blair Witch Project. But even that's a little overdone. But I love The Descent. That's a great fucking movie. Exorcist, I thought was okay. That was really boring. I mean, like, when you get to the Exorcist part, it's fantastic. But the whole movie, until we get to that, is really boring. Halloween 1978 is the classic. Like, it's a good horror movie, but I wouldn't consider it scary. Like, I mean, it's scary, but not scary enough to make me shit my pants and have nightmares. Because that's another thing. Movies have to make me scared, and they have to give me nightmares afterwards. Halloween didn't do that for me. Although I did have one Halloween nightmare. And maybe and I keep a lot of some of my dreams in a notebook, so in case I use them for future ideas. But in a way, I have it sort of a scene that kind of I want to maybe do for a potential, if I ever review the Halloween movies, have something there for Michael Myers to do. But yeah, those are my top 3 scariest. Nightmare on Elm Street is a comedy for me. It's not scary. It's hilarious. And that could be because of the sequels. Season of the Witch is an interesting concept, although I wish it was part of the continuity, is what I'm saying. Psycho's great. I am a fan of Hitchcock. Okay, I'll say this. My favorite Hitchcock movie, and this one scared the shit out of me, was The Birds. Birds was horrifying. Wolfman 2010 I thought was a decent remake. That's where the fucking Dark Universe should have started. Along with the Fraser mummies. Because then you could have done the Mummy versus the Wolfman. Okay, so we're kind of getting on the last bit of time. The Shining was actually pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. A Bug's Life is something I wouldn't mind talking about because I feel like it's underappreciated. Although, it's funny because I do have an idea of doing a video essay on something the Fine Brothers did that is really forgotten about, but I think deserves some attention. But I'll say that for another time. But anyway, I haven't seen the sequel. I heard the sequel sucked. So we're gonna, I love Team America World Police. Holy shit. Favorite kaiju movie is not inclining Kong or Godzilla. Cloverfield. Cloverfield's fantastic. So we're kind of running a bit out of time. Again, I wanted to make this a little short, guys. So apologies. I would like to answer 3 more questions, and then I'm going to call it a night. So obviously, let's fire away because I'm going to make this quick. I've seen the sequel to The Birds, Justin Tang. That, I liked it when I rented it on home video, and then I saw it again. I'm like, wow, this sucks. Oh, what an awful sequel. My God. Love how everybody forgot about that. It's the same thing with, like, Bruno Mattei's Jaws 5. God damn it. Terrible fucking sequel. So yeah, 3 more questions, fire away, and then we're gonna call it a night, because I do have to get back to work and I have to do a few things before my mom gets home. Thoughts and hopes for Godzilla vs. Kong, and who do you want to see win? I'll make this one question. I'm actually still looking forward to it. If they need a bit more time to make it better, so be it. But in terms of who I want to see win, I'm Team Kong, but let's see what happens. I want to make t-shirts for the premiere that say hashtag Team Kong and hashtag Team Godzilla, but what I want to do is get them in the font of the Twilight Team Edward, Team Jacob things just for comedy. Holy shit. Okay, so we got 2 more questions. I don't know what that means, good old movie trailers, but I'll tell you another time. Have I read Jaws or Jurassic Park novels? I've read the first Jurassic Park novel, and I really liked it. I've not read the Jaws novel because I haven't been able to obtain a copy. Thoughts on the Sonic movie coming out? I'm kind of, okay, to be honest, I'm not a big Sonic fan. I'm more Mario. But, because I never grew up with Sega consoles. But for me, I'm kind of interested to see what they do with it. Especially given the fact that they listened to the fans and actually took time to fix things up to make the fans happy. That I can kind of respect, and that kind of makes me want to go help support this, because it's good to support people that listen to you. So for me, I want to go see it for that. But other than that, I know it's probably not going to be the best, and I want to see how crazy and how weird it is. So I don't know. I might do an opening night on that. I know Brad wants to do a review of the original Sonic games on the Genesis for a 16-bit show that we're working on prior to the release of the new Sonic movie. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what they do with it. I'm really kind of curious to see how it goes down, because normally video game movies very rarely work. But hey, last year broke the mold of bad anime movies, so maybe this might be a good video game movie. I mean, Ready Player One and Detective Pikachu are considered good video game movies. So that's it for this live stream, guys. I know it's a little short, but I gotta get going before my mom gets home. I have to clean up a few things. But of course, any other questions, let me know in the comment section below. We'll answer it. Of course, if you want to donate to the channel, go check out our Patreon. Just $1 more will get you early access to all of our content, as well as other special features. Plus, we got a set of Inuyasha vlogs that you guys should go check out. If you want to see them early, check them out on Patreon. Of course, if you guys want to send us fan letters, requests, donations, gifts, you can send at this address, Big Jack Films, P.O. Box 326, Queensville, Ontario, L0G1R0. We'd really appreciate it. So, again, sorry this is a little short, but I wanted to do a live stream for you guys, because that's what we do every Wednesday. So until the next video, like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys later. This is Big Jack Film signing off. Have a good night, and don't believe everything you see on the internet. Well, I mean, except for me. Peace out.